Honorable Chair, distinguished guest speakers, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. First, I would like to thank organizers to invite me as a discussant for this topic, board leadership as a discussant, I think, which is critical for corporate success. The presentation actually itself covers most of the important points and dimensions what that I am not interested to repeat on that. Instead, what I wanted to do, I will reflect on 3 points or 3 questions that, in my view, will define the effective board effectiveness in today's situation. So, first point, the question that in my mind is, what is the role of the board beyond the oversight? Because we are thinking about the oversight, but what can the role can take beyond the oversight? How does the board create value, especially when there is a times of the uncertainty? And finally, how must board leadership evolve for the future? And for that, I will emphasize on a few points. Traditionally, actually, boards were seen primarily as oversight bodies, approving strategies, reviewing performance, and ensuring compliances. That responsibility remains critical, but modern board leadership, I think, goes further. An effective board acts as a steward of purpose, culture, and long-term values. What already our keynote presenters emphasis on. It asks not only are we compliant, but also are we making the right choices for the future? Are we balancing between the short-term performance and the long-term resilience? Strong board leadership, ensuring integrity, transparency, and independence of judgment. These huge important things. One of the most powerful role of the board is setting the tone from the top, because HR policy is there, but culture doesn't sit on the HR policies. I think it sits on the boardroom behaviors. Actually, how actually a board actually promote open and objective discussions. It's important. And whether it is dissenting views are encouraged, how conflict of interest are managed, and how ethical dilemmas are addressed. When boards demonstrate openness, respect, and integrity, those behaviors cascade across the organization. This creates trust among management, employees, even regulators, shareholders, and at large in the society also. Board actually, there is a relationship between the balancing between the independence and the partnership, because there is a management and there is a board. So that the relationship is board should be the independence, but there is a partnership with the management. So how is the partner on that? The best board strike on the final balance. Independence, not a distant. Board should not be distant on that. Board should be independent, but should not distant. Challenging, but not oppositional. And supportive, but do not involve in the day-to-day job, day-to-day decision making. Effective board leadership means asking the right questions, not giving all the solutions or the answers. It means creating a space where management feels both held them accountable, and supported to succeed. The keynote speaker spoke about the diversity of the thoughts. Board leadership today must also reflect the diversity of the experience, expertise, gender, and the thoughts, especially thoughts. Because in increasing the complex regulatory and business scenario, no single background has all the answers. No homogeneous board can see all the risks. So board that embrace diversity and constantly demonstrate stronger debate, outcomes of better decision making. The future board leadership, maybe the looking ahead, board leadership will be tested by rapid technological disruption, because we are talking about the digital. So the board will be tested on that. That's the rapid technological disruption, increasing regulatory and compliance expectations is another challenge for the future. And climate and sustainability challenges is there. And future-ready board will be those that invest in continuous learning, because board is a senior leadership, but they should learn, because in the situation is this is changing day by day. And stay close to the emerging risks without micromanaging. Lead the purpose, not just processes. As the closing reflections, to conclude, the board leadership is not about the authority, it is about the responsibility. Responsibility about the leading the integrity, governing the courage, challenging with wisdom, and guiding organizations towards the long-term sustainable success. For the betterment of time, I will conclude here. Thanks for hearing me. Thank you.